that things are going to heat up real soon. They haven't started the races yet, but we're going to talk to this gentleman right here and find out all about his car. Hi, can I get your name?
Paul Wessinger,
And you're from?
Rockford, Illinois.
Nice to meet you. Can I get your name?
Scott Snarski,
And who's the driver here? Oh, where are you from?
Illinois. Libertyville, Illinois.
Oh, nice to meet you. Now, who's the driver here?
That's me.
Okay, can you tell me about the car?
Well, it's something we started building a couple years ago, and it's powered by a Ford motor, and it's blowing alcohol, and goes pretty quick here. We're actually in the points lead right now at the Peat Monster, and we're having a good time here.
So you're in the points lead. Do you travel to a whole bunch of different areas around? Are they close?
Well, Bill has most of the races here, but we do have a few fairgrounds we do, and we do go to a few races, Florida and New York and things like that.
So there's a lot of traveling involved. I also have a question. Now, is weight a factor with this? Do you run titanium at all with this vehicle?
Just the valves are titanium. Can't afford any more.
Well, it's a big expense, but it's worth it to be able to get the titanium. Do you drive it at all?
I have one so far. Possibly in the future I will be, but I'm just the pit guy right now. Pit crew.
Oh, well, that's important, though. You know, you guys are well needed. So I was going to ask, too, how fast does it go when you get in the mud? Do you know?
It'll maybe hit about 100 miles an hour and 200 feet.
Wow. Now, how's my thing is I've never seen the show before, so I have all kinds of questions, so I'm ready to spit them all out. But when you're out there, if you get really stuck, do they have a vehicle to come and tow you out?
Yeah, that big tractor over my shoulder pulls us out. So it's we get stuck pretty good sometimes.
Oh, well, I can imagine. Even the little guys, yes.
Yeah, I'm wondering, coming from Libertyville, how'd you get involved in the sport?
They used to have a track up close to us. I've been running trucks my whole life, and we got into this with this level about 5 years ago. It's just a lot of good time, a lot of good people you race with, and it's a lot of fun.
So a lot of people start off with the smaller cars and get the feel of it, and then they want to go bigger and better and more expensive, right?
Yes, yeah. Faster and faster.
All right, well, before I take up this whole time, I'm sure Bill wants to add some stuff, so come on in, Bill.
I sure do, Pegster. If you would step right over here, and I know you guys, carefully, because they're sinking with the spiked heels. Everybody's looking around saying, why do you have them in spiked heels? And I say, well, look, what do you think? Come on. Couple of quick questions. First of all, this is big-time stuff we're talking about. It looks like an Aries motor.
It's actually a Ford-generated Hemi motor, Boss 429 generated off of.
Big-time stuff. We're talking about a lot of money. This is not inexpensive. We're talking about a GMC supercharger, or is that not even a GMC?
Well, at one time it used to be a long time ago, but they've modified and made them...
Like Dyer used to do and all that?
Right. It's very highly modified now.
Okay, give us an idea. Size of motor? You have all the information?
It's a 572 cubic inch blown alcohol Ford motor.
All aluminum?
All aluminum, yep.
This is big-time stuff, and I heard titanium valves?
Yeah, titanium
Any
valves.
restrictions on your class?
Nope, just run what you brung.
So this is the baddest of the bad?
Yeah, we hope so.
No, I'm serious. The cars that we're going to see here today, would be the fastest class?
Right, this is the fastest class.
Okay, a couple quick questions. We notice we've got the big paddle tires on the rear, but also notice they don't exactly have little skinny ones here on the front. They've also got the cleated tires on the front, and I see a differential up here. So obviously this one is four-wheel drive, supercharged. You say alcohol burning?
Yes.
Supercharged alcohol burning, almost 600 cubic inches with four-wheel drive. Do any of them run two-wheel drives like dragsters?
We have one out with two-wheel drive today.
Same class?
Same class, blowing alcohol.
It's just a matter of who thinks what works, right?
Right, he's a lot lighter than we are, but we get more drive than he's got.
That's exactly right. You have to really understand this, folks. When you start adding things like four-wheel drive to a car, you add weight and mechanical complexity. So the question becomes, do you go faster by having all four wheels driving, or do you go faster by having little light spindly front end and just the big tires in the back? Open question, or is it solved? Do we know?
They have their days. Both of them have their days.
Well, that's what makes motorsport exciting, is we don't know what those answers are, and that's what we're out here to figure out. Am I correct?
That's true. That's true.
Yes. I'm sorry.
I'm wondering, I remember you said that a lot of times with drag races, you have to replace the engine. And do you have the same problem here?
I bet these guys spit parts all the time.
Yeah, we have our share of parts flying out of there.
Yeah, same engine, same deal. This is the same as you put on the drag strips.
Seems like it'd be a constant change with the time, just to see what works better for you, every modification that you do. And also, since you're the pit crew guy, Paul, you get to clean the tires when it's done racing?
Wait a minute.
Yep, all the time.
Well, we're talking about it on the way out. One of the problems these guys have, remember, Chuck showed the audience the track. We are talking about mud, and it wouldn't be hard if you start out at the beginning of the race at, say, 1,600 pounds. It wouldn't be hard at the end of the track to add 1,000 pounds of mud. Totally different handling.
Yeah, it slows the car down quite a bit at the end when all the mud starts hanging up.
Right, and I would assume if you say you think you can reach 100 miles an hour in this little short, well, how long is the track?
It's 200 feet to what we run.
200 feet, you can reach 100 miles an hour in 200 feet?
That's something. That's awesome.
It's absolutely awesome. Again, I saw this last year. This is very, very cool. And one thing I want to point out, this is another thing. Yes, part of it is theater. The car is colorful, it's noisy, it's loud and all that, and the guys have nice team uniforms. So part of motorsport is theater, but all of motorsport is physics, including this. And what these guys, like every other kind of motorsport, part of what you do is you start out with a task, a piece of work, as your physics professor would tell you, a piece of work. In this case, accelerate for 200 feet in mud. And then you need the parameters you have to work in. How long can you make it? How many engines can you have? Whatever the rules are, tires and things like that. And then everybody goes back to their garages and starts cutting and welding and coming up with their ideas of what they think will accelerate that 200 feet in the mud faster than anybody else. And when you agree, we're talking physics.
Exactly. It's all it is.
It's all physics, no different than any other motorsport, no different than the Indy 500 or Formula One or anything else. It's just a different task and different boundaries.
Right. It's all power to weight.
Yeah, precisely. Go ahead.
I have a question. These little pieces here on the tires, I'm not familiar with that. Okay, is that specifically for this type of mud racing, or are there other sports?
Specifically for mud drags, and these are paddles, and you'll see out there they scoop up mud like you wouldn't believe.
Okay.
It's all for traction, yes.
How many runs do you have in a race, and do you get eliminated by each run to see who goes?
Okay, she wanted to know, how did we end up with a winner? It's just like drag racing elimination?
No, we have 2 passes, and the best time of the 2 passes wins the day.
Okay, so you're not actually, you're racing against each other, but we're really racing for best time of the day.
Right, best time of the day.
Well, that's certainly interesting. Now we've got to move on because we've got a lot of guys to talk to. Again, I wanted to show the audience this great piece. This is just a really, really clean, sanitary piece of work. But I will assure you, speaking for them, and clean as nice as it is now, it won't be by the end of the day.
I'll bet these things get dirty. And speaking of dirty, let's join Susan as she has an opportunity to learn about one of the best mud dragging teams in the country. And the car just happens to be called Dirty Deeds.